The new changes in the Chase Sapphire Reserve went into effect on the 26th of October. With the increased annual fee on the credit card came a slew of additional benefits. But if you're a user of this credit card, you have to understand which of these benefits are helpful to you and which aren't. Today I'll talk about the Chase Sapphire Reserve in its entirety. We'll cover the things that I dislike about the credit card, and we'll also cover the things that I really like about the credit card, and I'll give you my reasons for both. And hopefully it gives you some indicators for how you should be thinking about this credit card and making a decision whether to have it in your wallet or not. If you're new here, my name is Abhilash, this is Credit Debit with Aaby. If you like this kind of content, hit the like and subscribe button, and like we do in all of our videos, without further ado, let's dive in. While you might have seen a bunch of videos talking about the benefits on this credit card, it's worthwhile to quickly go through the list. Let's talk about the multipliers first. You get 8x back on Chase travel, down from 10x before. You get 4x back on airlines and hotel spend. You get 3x back on dining. And you get something called as a point boost, where if you're booking a hotel through the Chase travel portal, there are some hotels that give you 2x back on every single Chase point that you have, and those hotels tend to be the more expensive ones. Let's also talk about the holistic benefits on these credit cards. You have a $500 hotel credit that comes from the Edit collection. This is broken down into $250 every 6 months, and you can only avail this when booking an Edit collection hotel for a minimum of 2 nights. You maintain the $300 annual travel credit, which remains one of the easiest ones to use in the industry. You get $300 dining credit that's broken down into $150 every 6 months. And for this, Chase has partnered with OpenTable to ensure you're able to eat out at some of these exclusive restaurants. They're also introducing a $250 hotel statement credit that becomes applicable after Jan 1st, 2026, all the way through December 2026. Bear in mind that similar to the Edit benefit, you also have to stay for 2 nights to avail of this credit. But the thing that makes it interesting is IHG is one of the featured hotels, so I'm interested to see what sort of hotels show up within the IHG umbrella. There's also a $300 StubHub credit broken down into $150 every 6 months. $288 split between Apple TV and Apple Music, $420 on DoorDash, $120 on Peloton, as well as Lyft broken down into $10 every single month. And I think that completes it. With that out of the way, let's talk about some of the features and benefits of this credit cards that I personally do not like for my use case. And I'm going to start with one of the biggest additions in the updated Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and that's the $500 that you get on the Edit collection. Like I said when I was talking about the benefits, the $500 within the Edit collection can only be availed when you're staying at an Edit collection hotel for a minimum of 2 nights. These hotels are not very different than the hotels you would find on the fine hotels and resorts, meaning they're very expensive. The difference though is that fine hotels and resorts allows you to stay at these properties for 1 night. Whereas for the Edit collection, you have to stay for a minimum of 2 nights. And that's the part that I do not like about this benefit. Let's take the examples of hotels in Delhi. Here, there are a few options that you see within the Edit collection. None of the hotels are available for less than $1,000. Now, if you're already going to spend cash on some of these hotels, you can surely make the case that this $250 every 6 months can actually add up. But I just don't see myself getting excited about doing that. And while there may be instances where I actually might end up using this credit, I don't really value it. The second credit I don't find valuable is the $300 StubHub credit that's also broken down into $150 every 6 months. Have I been to games and events before? Absolutely. But is that something I do on a recurring basis? The simple answer is no. And even if I forced myself to use this across the 2 cities that I spent the most amount of time in, that's LA and New York, ticket prices for basketball games, the one sport I like watching, are definitely higher than $150. So I'm still paying something out of pocket to be able to utilize this credit. So while this credit sounds great on paper to be able to lower the effective annual fee on the credit card, for me, it just doesn't work. And similar to the Edit collection credit, there may be instances where I actually end up using it, but if I'm valuing the credit card sitting here today, I just can't value that credit at anything more than $0. And one other example I can cite of a benefit I do not like is the point boost benefit. Like I mentioned, the points boost allows you to get 2x back for every single Chase point you're using to book a hotel. And I have never, and I mean never, used the Chase travel portal for anything. And I don't see that behavior changing. The other thing is I can always transfer over my Chase points over to a bunch of partners, including partners like Hyatt, where I'm almost guaranteed 2 cents per point. Moreover, the points boost has the same problem the Edit collection has, wherein the point boost is mostly available for very expensive options. I didn't care about the 1.5x one got from the Chase travel portal earlier, and I don't really care about the 2x back that we get now. So with those examples out of the way, let's talk about the benefits that I do actually care about and why I care about them. And let's start with some of the benefits that have stayed on the credit card, and 2 namely that I care about. Number 1 is the $300 annual travel credit, and number 2, the $420 DoorDash package. Let's start with the $300 annual travel credit. This is one of the easiest travel credits to use in the industry. Whether you're taking a taxi, whether you're staying at a hotel, all of those things that code as travel will qualify for this credit. And I have generally used up this credit in the first 2 months of every single calendar year. The flexibility and the ease of use of this credit makes it my favorite benefit on this credit card. And the second DoorDash one is also interesting because I don't value it at $420, which is what Chase values it at. But I value the $25 I get every single month in terms of credits, broken down into $5 for dining options and two $10 options for groceries. I'm one of those people who tends to order in groceries, and even with a slightly elevated price, I'm able to make something back because of the $10 credit I'm getting for groceries. And not to mention, when you are in a pinch, especially when I have long work days and I haven't had the chance to go out, I can always order in. Not the greatest strategy, I know, but it's something I do, and that's why I value this credit. And the Dashpass subscription is at $120 for the year. I personally value it at a little less than that because I probably wouldn't pay for the Dashpass subscription, but at the same rate, when I use Dashpass, I'm saving some money. And that saving is the value of the Dashpass subscription to me. In terms of what I value with the new benefits on the credit card, there are three. Number one is the $300 dining credit broken down into $150 every 6 months. By now, if you haven't picked up, I really like eating out, at least 1 to 2 times a week. And even though the collaboration with OpenTable has exposed a limited number of restaurants, even in a city like New York, my player 2 and I love to try out new restaurants, and so it becomes a no-brainer to go out to these restaurants, try the food, and pretty much not have to pay for it. In terms of optionality of restaurants, Resi definitely beats OpenTable, but it's still a valuable perk for me. The second benefit I really value is the 4x back we get on hotels now. Because I travel a fair bit for work and for personal reasons, the 4x back on hotels can really add up over the course of the year. I almost compare this to the 4x back that people value a lot with groceries and dining on the Amex scorecard, where I think if I compare the spending over the course of the year across hotels and then on dining and supermarket, they're very similar. And so earning elevated points on that is really clutch. And the last updated benefit that I value now is the Apple TV subscription. I've been one of those people who has opted into Apple TV and then opted out of Apple TV for a variety of reasons. Most recently, I opted in to watch Severance, and then I opted out. Now I want to opt in for the F1 movie, and maybe after watching that movie I'll opt out again. And the Apple TV subscription with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card just allows me not to think about it anymore. Should I value it at the 100%, which is $156? Maybe not, but I can easily value that at 50% of that value. The net of all of this analysis is that the value really depends on who you are and what your lifestyle is. It also depends on what you care about. In my case, the things I care about between the Chase annual travel credit, DoorDash, the dining credit, the Apple TV credit, and the 4x back on hotel kind of balances out the elevated annual fee of $795. And I'm going to say it's not a clear slam dunk, but it just delivers enough value where I haven't thought about closing down the card. But if you do the math and you realize for your lifestyle somehow that math doesn't work out, well, that gives you optionality around either canceling the card, or what I would recommend is to downgrade this card to a $0 annual fee card. And the additional thing that I value is the Chase Reserve Lounge access that you get with the credit card, especially because the Chase Reserve Lounge network is now growing. Moreover, the travel protections that you get with the credit card and the inclusion of primary collision damage waiver when you're renting a credit card is very handy with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. What are some of the benefits that you like and dislike about the credit card? Let me know in the comments below. And based on your math, are you going to keep this card open? Excited to see what you think. I'll see you in the next one.